Hey everybody, and welcome back to the board meeting. Today we are going to be taking a look at probably the most hyped up game from 2023, the new big tableau builder from this year. This is Earth, and that is a beautiful board game cover right there. Now in Earth, it is the next big tableau builder game for the year. And this is a very popular genre now. It seems like every year we're getting one of these that are coming out, and they are pretty popular from all the board gamers. So let's just go and do a quick overview of what's happening in this game, and then I'll come back and I'll do a review of some of my thoughts for this particular game. So in the overview, this game, like I said, it's a tableau builder where you are going to build out a tableau of 16 cards in a 4x4 grid. So you are going to be playing these cards into this tableau, doing the action of that, and then activating all the cards of that ability's color. And everybody is going to be doing this simultaneously. Whoever takes the original action is going to get a better version of that action. Everybody else who's the inactive player is going to get a worse version of that action. And there are only 4 actions in this game that you are doing, so it starts off pretty simple, pretty basic, and I'll go through these actions pretty quick. Everybody has their own particular player board, and whoever is the active player is going to choose one of these actions up here. And the actions are, you can plant, which is going to let you pay for the cards that are in your hand to put them into your tableau. Dirt is the money, the economy in this game, and you can plant 2 of your cards, put them into your grid, and then you can draw 4 cards and keep one of them, discarding the other 3. Everybody else who's not the active player is going to draw 1 card, or play 1 card and then draw 1 card. So you're spending money putting these cards into your tableau area. And then after you do that action, then you're going to go through your tableau of cards and you're going to activate all the cards that have whatever ability, whatever color ability that you just chose for that action. So if you do the green planting action, then you go through all your tableau cards and activate all the green cards that are in your tableau. And it could be anywhere from 0 cards with that ability to, 9, 10 cards. So depending on what cards you have in your tableau, you could do a ton of actions each turn, basically. The next action is getting 5 dirt, which, like I said, is money, and then composting cards from the deck. And when you compost cards, you just take cards from the deck, if you're composting from the deck, and place them right here. You're going to get 1 point for each card that you compost at the end of the game. You can compost cards from your hand too with some abilities, and that's just taking the cards that are in your hand and putting them right there. And basically, you're not going to use those cards anymore. You're just going to get 1 point at the end of the game. The other action is the blue action, is you're going to take the 6 sprout cubes and 2 dirt. And the sprout cubes are going to go on the flora cards that are in your tableau. And all the flora cards have so many spaces for these cubes. And at the end of the game, you're going to score 1 point for each of those cubes that are on your cards. Or throughout the game, you can spend those cubes 3 to get 2 of the dirt to spend on more cards to buy. The last action you can do is drawing 4 cards and getting 2 growth tokens. Growth tokens are kind of like the sprout cubes, where you're going to put these growth tokens on cards if they've got the room for them, and they're going to stack up, and you're basically building a tree with these components and then capping them off. And you're going to score 1 point for all of your growth tokens as well throughout at the end of the game. The game is going to end when some player has 16 cards in their tableau. That's going to trigger the end game. The other ways you're going to be scoring points is you have a fauna board with 4 different goals, basically. And they might be, one of them might be 9 cards that have at least 1 sprout cube on them. If you complete that goal that turn, you put one of your markers on that part. If you're the first person to complete that goal, you're going to get 15 points. And everybody from then on is going to get less and less points for completing those goals. You have 4 of those fauna goals. You also have 2 of these ecosystem goals, or ecosystem point cards, which are going to get you points for different things that you're doing throughout the game. You're also going to get points for, you have another ecosystem card on your own player board, and you're going to score points from those as well. You are also going to get an island card and a climate card. And each, at the beginning of the game, you're dealt these cards, and they're double-sided. And so you're going to choose what you want to do with these. The island card is basically just going to give you a starting setup. You're going to get so many cards for this. You're going to get so many points for that card. You're going to compost in so many cards from your hand right away. Your climate is just going to give you sort of another special ability throughout the game that you're going to be triggering. And that is the basic overview of what this game is. I know I didn't go through a lot of it, but let's go through the review of this game. Now, let's start very simple, the aesthetics and components of this game. This is a beautiful looking game. They did real life photography for the cards, sort of like how Ark Nova did with their game. And it works really well for these nature type games because nature is beautiful. And also that cover is one of my favorite covers out there. Just really vibrant and, just a good looking cover, really grabs your attention. The only component that I have an issue with, and it's a minor issue, is the growth tokens. The growth tokens you're stacking on top of each other, and they don't really fit together that well. It's not like Legos. They're not snapping together. You're just kind of resting them on top of each other. And every single game of this that I've played, I've knocked over the growth tree components, which that just me. I'm clumsy, but I wish they just kind of snapped together rather than rested on top of each other. And so, yeah, I really like the look of this game. The aesthetics is just a beautiful looking game altogether. The weight of this game. For me, this is a medium to lightweight game. I've heard a lot of people say that this is a gateway style, welcoming sort of game where you can teach anyone this game. You can teach this game to anyone, sure, but are they going to understand the intricacies of all the different ways that you're scoring points? Probably not. I would say this is an easy game for gamers to get into if you've played lots of games. But if you haven't played a lot of games, this is going to be one that's you're not going to grok right away. It's going to take a few plays if you're teaching like a brand new person. So I definitely don't say this is a gateway style game, but it is a medium to lightweight sort of game that gets more and more complex as your tableau gets bigger and bigger on your board because you're activating more and more things throughout the game. The time this takes. For me, I've played this game 7 times now, and each game has been anywhere from 60 to 90 minutes, depending on who I'm playing with. Because this game, everyone's doing everything simultaneously, which makes the game move pretty smooth and fast. The problem is that you might play with someone who has analysis paralysis. And this game, since there's so much things that you're having to think about, so many different goals and scoring that you're having to think about, whether it's your own terrain cards, which are going to score you points for different things, or the goal cards, or the ecosystem cards, you're going to think about a lot of things in this game. And if you're playing with someone with analysis paralysis, this game might drag on a little bit longer. But if you're running it smoothly and everything's going well, it's going to take around 60 minutes. So it's a very fast-paced game. The replay value of this game. I think this game has a ton of replay value because there's so much variability in this game. I mean, there's a huge deck of cards. So the cards that you're getting each game, it's going to be different. The assortment of cards that you're getting. And you're going to go through quite a bit of the cards, I would say, in this game because you're drawing so many cards throughout the game. But the fact that the fauna goal cards are going to be different each time, the ecosystem cards goals are going to be different each game, your starting setup is going to be different. There is a lot of variability, a lot of replay value in this game. So if you like this game, you're going to have a lot of replay value. Every game that I've played of this has felt different and has worked out a little bit different of how my tactics have worked in this game. And point salad. This game is points. Maybe more point salad-y of a game than I've ever seen before. Because you're going to score points for all of your cards in your tableau. Okay? You're going to score points for your fauna goals that you're trying to complete before other players. Okay? You're going to score points for all 3 of those different ecosystem cards. You're going to score cards for your terrain cards that are going to have different goals in them. You're going to score 1 point for every sprout cubes that is on your player card. You're going to score 1 point for all your growth tokens that are on your board. You're going to score 1 point for all your the compost cards that you have on your board. You're going to get negative points for the events that you have played, which I didn't cover, but there are little event cards that you can play at any time, and they're going to give you something positive, but they're also going to give you negative points. And they're very, very small event cards. They're not like huge mind blowers for event cards, but there's just So many different things that you're going to score points from in this game, and it's just points, 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 and you're going to luck into some of these points as well. That brings me to whether it's strategic game, the tactical game, how lucky this game is. To me, this game is more of a tactical game than a strategy game, because you can go into this game thinking you're going to have a particular strategy, that you're going to do this, and depending on the cards that you're drawing in this game, you're going to have to maneuver your strategy probably several times throughout this game, because depending on the cards that you're drawing, you're not going to be able to do that strategy. And that brings me to the luck portion of this. There is no market of open cards that you can see when you're drawing cards. Everything is just blind luck drawing. So you might have a plan of, I want to do this, and then the cards that you're drawing just aren't working for that particular strategy that you're trying to go to. So you're going to have to maneuver and switch of how you're going to do the things. And to me, I've scored anywhere from 250 points in this game to 150 points in this game. Do I feel like I played better when I scored 250 points compared to when I scored 150? Not necessarily. Because when I got 250 points, the cards that I was drawing just happened to work really good with what I was going. When I scored 150 points, I wasn't drawing what I needed, and I had to switch my strategy and my tactics throughout the game. I had to maneuver and had to work around me not getting the cards that I needed. So to me, there is quite a bit of luck factor in this game, and it's because you're just drawing blindly every time. If there was an open market for cards, that's when I could have picked cards from that and actually gone with a particular strategy. But since it's just blind luck, there is a substantial amount of luck in this game. As far as player count, this is very much a multiplayer solitaire game. There is almost zero interaction in this game other than the race for completing the Fauna goal cards. Other than that, you're not doing anything that affects other players. This feels very much like Hadrian's Wall, where, everyone's doing their own thing. So in this game, whoever the active player is, they choose an action, and then everybody else chooses a worse gets the worse action for that, and then goes through their tableau and activates all of those cards. So basically, someone picks an action, everybody's heads go down and looks at their own player board, and boom, 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 doing all their stuff. And then after you get done, you look up, see if anybody's still going. If they're not, the next active player then chooses the next action, and everybody's heads go down again. And you're not really interacting with the mechanics of this game, and you're not interacting socially with this game, because everyone is so involved in their own player board, and there's almost no downtime for this game. So it's not like you're talking a lot. You're concentrating on your own player board, trying to figure out how to place these cards the best way you can, and kind of min-max your own personal situation for this game. So it's very much a multiplayer solitaire game for myself. And that brings me to the solo part of this game. There's a solo mode in this game, and if you know how to play the multiplayer game, the solo game is very, very easy to get into. It's like a 1-minute rules teach for that. You're just flipping over a small deck of cards and then having the AI basically do that particular action, collecting sprout tokens, collecting growth tokens, composting cards, and then you're doing that. So it's very much similar to the multiplayer game. You're just flipping over a card that determines what the AI is doing. But it's very simple to get into. And that brings me to, I think this game is a better... To me, it's more of a solitaire game than a multiplayer game. I'm going to play this more solo than I am going to bring it to game night, because of that, the fact that there's not much interaction. I might bring it to game nights just to show a couple people here and there, but for the most part, I'm just going to keep it at home and play it solitaire, because even when I'm playing multiplayer, I'm still playing solitaire. So, yeah. For comparisons, this game is getting compared to a lot of the big tableau builders in board gaming. I'm talking about Ark Nova, Terraforming Mars, Ares Expedition, Wingspan, Everdell. When to me, there really is only one comparison, and that is to Wingspan. Because like in Wingspan, you are building that 4x4 grid basically onto your own player board. Well, in this one, you don't have a player board that you're building that grid onto, but you're going to do the action and then activate cards that are in your tableau. And that feels very much like Wingspan. They did borrow something from Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition, where the active player chooses an action and then the inactive players just get a worse version of that. So they did borrow a mechanic from Ares Expedition, but to me this is very much a Wingspan type of game. I wouldn't have been surprised if I learned that Elizabeth Hargrave, designer of Wingspan, had designed this as well. So they definitely did borrow some stuff from Wingspan, but it is different enough where I don't think if you own one, you can't own the other one. I don't think it replaces one or the other. So overall thoughts and ratings for Earth. This, I stumbled between a couple ratings for this, and I think I'm going to eventually, I'm falling down onto an 8, which is lower than a lot of reviewers are giving this game, but I like a lot that is in this game. I really like this game, actually. I like the engine building, the tableau building, that grid that you're building in this game. I like going through and activating all your cards. I like that there's little downtime in this game. I like that it's just, you're constantly doing things. Even when it's not your turn, you're getting stuff as well and activating your ability. It's just constant endorphins. Good things are happening all the time for you. But this is very much, you know, just good things on good things and good things. So you're like, you know, they take an action and you're like, oh, it's not the best action they could have taken for me, but this, I'm still getting good things for this. The things that bring it down to an 8, which I bringing down to an 8, you know, an 8 is a great rating. I don't really like much of the point salad aspect of this, that everything is scoring you points, and that you're just going to luck into quite a bit of the points in this because there's so many things that you're working with. You're like, okay, I want to play this card and it's good for these 2 goals, it's bad for this and this though, and so you're going to have to choose in that game. But you're just going to score points for everything. You know, you're going to score 30 points for this, and you're going to score 24 points for this, 36 points for this, 45 points for this, 21 points for this, 16 points for this. And you're just going down the list, and you're scoring for a ton of stuff in this game. I'm not a huge fan of it. It's not a horrible thing, but I wish you were scoring for a little bit less in this game. And the big thing to me is that there's no market for your cards. So everything is blind luck. To me, that is the worst part of this game. I wish there was a market of cards that I could choose from so that I felt like I was in a little bit more control of the strategy that I'm trying to go with and the cards that I'm choosing. You're drawing a ton of cards in this game, and a lot of them are going to work for you, but a lot of them aren't. And so and you're drawing a lot of cards. There are times where I've had 30 cards in my hand for this game. So hopefully you run into, you know, the cards that you want to, but a lot of times you aren't. And that's what I mean, like when I scored 150 to 250, did I feel like I played any better? Not really. So to me, when you're comparing scores at the end of the game, I don't feel like I won or lost. I'm just trying to beat my own previous score, just hoping that I run into the cards that I need. It's not a huge deal. Still a really good game. Really, really wonderful, fun game. Just constant good things happening to you. I really like it. But that will conclude this video, this review. Make sure to comment down below some of your thoughts on this game if you've played it, if you haven't. Do you think this game lived up to the hype for yourself, or did it fall a little bit short of what you were expecting? Either way, if you did enjoy this video, make sure to like and subscribe to see more weekly content from me, Shane, at the Board Meeting in the future. Hope you'll have an amazing day. Take care.